Hello, my name is Elizabeth Sinyard, and my project is called Spaces for Intergenerational Learning, exploring how cities can improve mental health through designing for intergenerational mutual creation and artistic production. Today's society faces an unprecedented crisis in mental health throughout all age groups, particularly with youth and seniors. According to both the World Health Organization and the Center for Disease Control, 10 to 20% of youth experience mental health disorders across the world, and 20% of people aged 55 or older experience some kind of mental health concern. These disorders are often associated with feelings of isolation, anxiety, depression, discrimination, and more. Intergenerational programming is a critical step in forming robust community networks built on a strengths-based perspective that bridge the generational gap and overcome social and mental health problems. In particular, intergenerational learning is a realm of untapped potential centered around the idea that human development and learning is a lifelong process that provides outlets for young and old to collect under shared goals, exchange skill sets, learn from one another, and grow together. I've looked into 3 specific studies, one of which I'll describe right now. Together Young and Old, or TOY, is an organization that promotes intergenerational learning. They conducted a series of pilot actions to assess the effects of intergenerational learning on the groups involved. The studies were conducted over a course of several months in 5 different countries. They targeted almost 600 children and 169 older people from ages 55 to 75 and older. The activities included friendly encounters, mutual creation, living together, and transfer of experience. The results demonstrated that for both young and older participants, overall well-being was increased. There were new abilities, there was a breakdown in barriers, greater respect, validation, and empowered capacities. The other studies included singing workshops with young school children and seniors in a care home, and drama workshops and activities held in a care home for elderly experiencing dementia. Both of these studies similarly found positive outcomes in both mental and physical health for all involved. But despite the success of these studies, our cities within the United States still do not prioritize intergenerational relationships or promote them successfully through the built environment. Very little programming or space is dedicated to intergenerational activities, and strong generational gaps still exist. I believe that by creating spaces that promote intergenerational learning through mutual creation and artistic production, our cities can improve the mental health of the young and aging populations. To work towards a more robust community network made up of new relationships, activities, abilities, and appreciation for each other, I have honed in on the specific city of Ann Arbor and proposed 3 multi-scalar steps. Step 1 is the most immediately accessible move forward. It takes place within the information sector of the design continuum and recognizes that physical access is a key ingredient to the success of intergenerational programming. Through mapping some of the most frequented locations of both younger and older city residents, for example, schools, care homes, libraries, etc., it becomes evident that some schools and care homes are located proximate to each other and existing cultural and artistic spaces. Through additional programming, these existing spaces could bring both the youth from the school and the elderly population from the care home together. For activities in spaces like the American Cultural and Historical Museum, the ARC Music and Performance Venue, Project Grow Community Gardens, and the Eberbach Cultural Arts Center. Step 2 works at the scale of the interior and architecture. This step involves assessing the map of schools and care homes to determine where they exist beyond the accessible distance and determining a building or space that could be designed or converted into an environment for intergenerational activity. The design and retrofitting of these spaces must take into account the spatial characteristics necessary to cater to the learning of both age groups and enhance engagement between participants. This can include physical characteristics such as accessibility for less mobile people, ample comfort and lighting to be welcoming, and a layout and seating arrangement that promotes engagement and interaction. Step 3 works at the urban scale of the design continuum. It posits that intergenerational activity must be a priority and a goal across sectors. Healthcare, public housing authority, community-based organizations, city officials, and planners must all partner together to successfully plan urbanisms that allow for and promote intergenerational connection. Schools and care homes should be placed adjacent in order to increase and promote interaction between the populations. Shared facilities like museums and libraries should properly cater to all ages and formulate programming that brings different groups together, and more collective activities like gardening, storytelling, sitting in the public park, participating in classes, etc. must successfully be designed and located to attract and bring together all members of the community. These are some of my resources. Across the entire design continuum, intergenerational activity needs to be better and more fully incorporated into the way today's cities operate. From the first step of working with existing local organizations to design new programs, to incrementally changing the physical space of the city by creating new spaces and adapting existing ones, all the way to rearranging and rethinking our very urban fabric, I believe these strategies can begin to work towards stronger social connections and community networks and ultimately improve mental health for all citizens.